What's up, kinfolk? Back here with another episode of Bubba and the Old Man.
We are here back with the accidental podcast, I think is what I'm going to call it, because I don't know if y'all realize, but it was not intended to be that last week. We actually had a camera set up on a bar stool to record us, and it just turned out it was so long, I just thought I'd throw up some pictures and stuff, and we could just talk. Y'all seem to enjoy it. It didn't get a ton of views, but it seemed like all our subscribers and everything seemed to like it. So we're going to go over Umass. We were intending to record a reaction on our way home. Didn't happen. We both had headaches. It was hot. And then we were intending to record it the next day, but we had stuff around the house we had to do. So now Monday night, happy Labor Day to everybody. We're recording this Monday night.
Monday night, the night after FSU handed LSU big time ass whooping.
Yep. And we just witnessed Duke hand Clemson a big time ass whooping. My dad's phone right there. That one was interesting to me. You know, happy that Dabo, it was me. It was a thing I sent you. Dabo, he's got a lot to figure out down there. But
yeah, Club Nick didn't look real well.
Neither did the offense or the defense, really. But
you know, sometimes the wheels come off faster than you think they are.
yeah. But we're going to talk about UMass. We're going to get a quick little rundown of what we thought about UMass, some things we liked, some things we didn't like. One thing I liked was the tempo early, coming out early with tempo.
Yeah, and Free said in his post game that they could go faster.
Yeah.
I like that. I think we're going to be all right if Quez is not able to come back this week. We got a good rotation of backs. We got some young backs, a lot of experience in that game.
Yeah.
The freshman running back,
Cobb, Jeremiah Cobb.
yeah, he's going to be really good. That's the only way I know how to put it. He's going to be really good. I mean, he gets a little bit more patience, lets his blocks develop a little bit more, and hits the hole. He's got speed. He's got a little shift, a little wiggle.
Yeah.
He's real shifty. The top end speed is good.
Yeah. When he busted through into the secondary, wasn't nobody in the state of Massachusetts that could catch him.
Right.
I mean, I legitimately think that we go with Quez probably about 5 deep with competent running backs. And that includes Sean Jackson, who runs about a 4.8, maybe.
Yeah, but he's running through there looking for contact.
And I really like that about him. He's a good change of pace guy. Quez, he has power. He's very well rounded. Damari has some power. But Sean Jackson definitely has probably the most angry running style on the team.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was hoping to see Batie get loose and show his speed, but
nah.
You can't get everything you want.
No. Something that was disappointing for sure was the lack of use of Rivaldo Fairweather, but hopefully that's just gamesmanship and not trying to show too much there. Something that I liked was the rotation at the offensive line position. It seems like we really have a good problem there. Whether we play Gunnar Britton at guard and Too Tall at tackle, or Britton at tackle and Wright at guard, I hope that this doesn't become a thing throughout the season where we're having to rotate like that. Hope we can settle on a rotation. Britton looked really good at tackle. He looked not as good, but decent at guard. I didn't like the fact that he ended up in the backfield a couple times. He got blew up a couple times. We knew he wasn't the most physical offensive lineman when we brought him in. He's more of a finesse guy. He's really athletic, was a tight end coming out of high school. So, I mean, he's serviceable at guard, but having that road grader and Jeremiah Wright can be valuable in the running game.
Yeah, I think the reason there's a rotation there is Jeremiah Wright's got to get better at his pass blocking.
He's not great in his pass set for sure. He was probably the worst pass blocker on the team last year. It looked better Saturday. How much can we take out of that? I don't know. But that is definitely something that he's got to get better at, and it was something that should have been developed before now. He should have never been playing defensive line for sure.
I agree.
He is perfect for the guard position, and it sucks that it's this late in his career when they're focusing on him playing guard, because he's got the nastiness and he's got the ability for sure to play guard. But if he can't get into his pass set, and he can't be efficient in that, and he doesn't understand pass blocking as well as he probably should, he's not going to be able to play at this level.
Yeah, he definitely got to get better. But like you said, I really thought, from the first drive, I mean, Auburn just marched it down the field and did what you're supposed to do against a lesser opponent.
Yeah.
Defense-wise, I think the first drive they were kind of trying to feel their way around out there, got their legs under them,
playing a lot of base, simple things,
and they did some blitzes. I really like that. Kind of showed us that they had some unique blitzes in there where it looked like they confused the offensive line and the quarterback. But after that first drive, they shut them down until their last drive.
Yeah. The thing that I love is Donovan Kaufman at nickel.
Yeah.
That's another good problem that we have there. What do we do there? Do you just rotate them in and out at nickel?
Yeah.
And just have them taking turns? Or do you bump Keontae Scott out to boundary corner? And does that push Nehemiah Pritchett out of the starting rotation? These are the things that are going to have to be figured out this week. I'm assuming Pritchett's going to come back. Do you play Kaufman at safety? And if then, do you take Puckett out? Do you bench Puckett? He didn't do anything to lose the job. I mean, I just feel like that's another really good problem we have. Kaufman as a blitzer looked great.
He did. Keontae Scott got in the backfield.
Yeah, and that was the way that we were able to get pressure without McLeod being there and being healthy. So, I mean, to get pressure on the quarterback, it seems like we're going to have to dial it up a lot this year.
Right. Which these are all issues, that we kind of thought they would have, stopping the run, getting pressure. I mean, I'm super excited about Hugh Freeze and his staff, and I think they can do great things at Auburn. But to say that they're going to win
9, 10,
yeah,
that's.
I mean, I really, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I really think, just to keep it in perspective, 6 wins is the floor.
Yep.
Maybe 8 is the ceiling. I mean,
not talking like absolute ceiling, realistic ceiling, of course.
Yeah. Excuse me. I mean, anything can happen,
Ball.
A team here could have a player go down here, a player go down there, ball bounce this way, ball bounce that way. Bam, you're sitting at 9 wins at the end of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's great. And I love Auburn, so I would love to see them do that. But, not calling anybody out, Dapperage, but you gotta be realistic. I mean, you can't look at the UMass game and go, oh my God, this team is so great. They rolled up 50 however many points and we're winning the national championship. You just can't do that. I mean, I love the fans. I love that they're excited about it. But if you build yourself up that this is going to be a 9, 10, 11-win team, 90% of the time you're going to
be disappointed for sure.
Yeah, this year. I mean, because, realistically, A&M's got more talent.
Oh, yeah. We're going to probably face half our schedule for the rest of the season with teams, at least half the teams, that'll have
more
adequate
talent.
Or more talent.
Yes.
Even though Mississippi State probably doesn't have the same amount of talent, they have continuity. They're starting 20 seniors that have been there. And regardless of the coaching change there, you know what I mean?
I mean, a lot of that coaching staff is the same.
Yeah. they promoted their defense coordinator, who's a star in the making if he can figure it out. He's young, but I really, really like Zach Arnett. And rolling on from here, if we go next week, this upcoming week to Cal, and it doesn't look great, you cannot be disappointed.
You really can't, because, I mean, we turned over half the roster.
At least, yeah.
You know, and that's not including the 20 some odd players that left Brian Harsin.
Yeah.
You know, we got to keep our expectations tempered, and I mean, be excited.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not saying anybody shouldn't be. I am super excited, and you know, I talk about this with a lot of my work friends and everything. And, you know, 6 wins is an improvement.
It is.
6 wins. I don't care that Auburn was in the national championship game in 2013. I don't care that about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, they were in that SEC championship game. It does not matter. This is not that team.
This is not that staff. Everything, the entirety of college football is different.
It is. And I mean, you know, for this team, from what they did last year to a new coaching staff to this year, 6 wins is an improvement.
And
6 wins is a bowl game. That gets you the extra 15 practices.
Yep. And that's not to say that we should be happy with 6. That's not to say that we should be happy with 7. That's just to say to not be disappointed with either.
Right.
I feel like this is an 8-win team if we figure out chemistry issues. It's not just talent. It's also the fact that our new offensive line is gelling.
Right.
We brought in, I think we started 4 new guys.
Yeah, I think we got, 1 returning starter, 2 returning starters on the offensive line from last year?
1, because Jeremiah Wright did not start. And
Okay,
Jeremiah Wright didn't even start but like 3 or 4 games. I think.
Right.
Or at least he didn't get heavy playing time, but in 3 or 4. But Stutz is the only returning starter. And he looked damn good. So
Yeah.
He did his job very well. And he's a vocal leader on the team. They took him to media days. He did a great job. Gunnar Britton looked solid. But I thought Tutal also looked really, really good Saturday. For him being as young as he is and as raw as he was perceived to be coming out of JUCO, he really, really showed a lot of improvement. And his body looks a lot better. That's something Coach Freeze really talked about. He might even end up being the best player this season, not as far as future, the best player this season that we brought in this high school JUCO recruiting class.
Yeah, I really like the way he finished his blocks. He finished with a little bit of a nastiness. And, you know, me personally, you know, coming up through JV and high school ball, never played on this level. But I always enjoyed me playing defensive line, going up against offensive linemen that had a bit of a nasty streak in them. It just made the game a little bit more competitive for me.
Yeah.
You know.
He didn't want to just do his job, go back
yeah,
to battle.
I enjoyed waking up Saturday morning after a Friday night game and being sore and having bruises all over my arms. That was just something I always liked. I liked the battle within the battle. You know, just me and the guy in front of me, or me and the double team.
Yeah.
The individual battles in the game always made me, for lack of a better term, step up my game a little bit, which I really didn't have a whole lot of game. I was just big and mean as hell.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed going up against offensive linemen that had that same tenacity.
Yeah.
And when I watch football, like the other night when I went to my nephew's game, and I watched the tackles and the linemen.
The trenches.
Yeah, not just the tackles, but the trenches. I love watching them kids with that nastiness in them.
Yeah.
You know, not stepping outside the rules, but just that dog mentality. You know they're out there grinding and giving it everything, every play.
Yeah.
I don't like to see loafers, man, and that's what you see a lot of times watching some of these highly rated kids in high school. You know, all the offers start coming in and all the recruiters are pumping up their ego, you start seeing them loaf.
Yep. Think they're just better.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the big defensive lineman for Ole Miss, his brother played there. Everybody was going after him.
Robert Kimdichie?
Yeah, Kimdichie. He would turn it on. Seemed like every other play or every now and again, but when he played Bama, it's like he was on every play.
Because he knew, I got to whoop this dude's ass on this stage to get my draft stock up.
Right. And I just, that you could see that the talent was there for the kid.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't turn it on all the time. He would get blocked completely out of the play, and then the next play, nobody on the field could stop him.
Yep.
I don't like seeing that. In my opinion, that's a waste of an ability that the Lord gave you.
Yep.
If you don't see it through to its maximum level. And a little side note for anybody that's out there listening, I am sipping on a little Buffalo Trace today. If you would like to have a little sip with me, you are more than welcome.
I cannot legally do that, so guess I'm going to be sober.
Somebody has to.
But, that's what I liked about what I saw from defensive line Saturday.
What was that nastiness?
We had some nastiness. Justin Rogers.
He should be starting.
When Elijah McAllister got that sack, Justin Rogers just completely blew up his man and was just racing past him in the backfield.
Yeah.
He blew that play up completely, forced Pumanchon to step up, and McAllister got that sack. I didn't see a lot of guys lacking effort on the offensive line.
No, I didn't see that either. And, I love Jason Jones.
For sure.
I think the kid's got a lot of ability, but I don't think he's put it all together right now.
I think he shouldn't be playing nose.
I think he shouldn't be starting.
Yeah. I think that he's a guy who fits way better as a D tackle, where you can get him in that rotation with Marcus Harris at D tackle.
Yeah.
I think we saw enough from Justin Rogers Saturday to where Jason Jones can spell him at nose and can also spell Marcus Harris
at tackle,
at D tackle, because he can do the job at nose. But Justin Rogers is just a dog, man. You can tell.
And taking it a step further back to the next level at linebacker, I do not know why Eugene Asante was not starting.
The energy he brings is just next level.
It is. And that kid, even with pads on and a jersey, he is freaking shredded. Like, that kid is yoked up. I'm sorry, not kid. That is a grown man.
That is a grown-ass man, and he loves to work. That's why... we've given Cam Riley so many shots, right? He's got all the measurables. He looks great.
He looks the part.
He looks the part. He's athletic enough. He's just not that plus all the mental stuff it takes to be a linebacker. Yeah. He doesn't show that aggression. And
good player.
Really good player, but he's just not a linebacker, and he's not an edge. So I don't know where we put him.
Yeah.
I just don't think he can do it consistently. He was, in my opinion, probably the worst defensive player Saturday at the game. Rewatching the game, he just doesn't have it yet, and I don't know if he ever will, which sucks because he is so insanely talented, and he has all the measurables, and he's such an elite athlete, but he just doesn't have it to be a starting linebacker.
Not in the SEC, but you brought up edge, and I think Auburn screwed Florida State, because when Jared Verse leaves, they don't have a Keldrick Faulk to fill in that spot, and we got a Keldrick Faulk.
And I love that we moved him to end, because he was just, him and Mosiah Nasili-Kite were just blowing up that tackle. And he couldn't do anything about it.
He was on skates every time.
And it sucks because our linebackers couldn't clean the shit up when Nasili-Kite and Keldrick Faulk dominated their man.
Yeah.
And Keldrick Faulk, he only ended up playing 13 snaps Saturday, but they were 13 impactful good reps.
Impressive is the word I was going to say. They were 13 impressive snaps.
I think it was 3 straight plays where he got a tackle. Maybe he shared a sack, and then I saw him get back there and he knocked the ball out of Pumachan. It ended up being an incompletion because he got back there and he hit his arm. And he hasn't put it all together as a pass rusher yet, but when he does, he is going to be a lot to handle at that DN spot. And him this year, with Nasili Kite sharing that DN spot, and McLeod speed rushing off the edge, man, our pass rush has got it. It's just our linebackers got to be able to clean it up in the running game.
Right. And, you know, like we were talking about, that nastiness, that dog in them, Keldrick Faulk's got it.
Yep.
You know, I watched an interview with Grant. Which one's the edge coach?
Oh, you mean Aldridge? Or is it
Aldridge?
Is it Aldridge or is it Jeremy Garrett?
I think it's Jeremy Garrett.
Jeremy Garrett is Keldrick Faulk's coach. Yeah, D-line.
Yeah, Garrett. Okay. And he made mention to that Keldrick has all the tools, and he has the want to, and he was real impressed with how far Keldrick had made it from going from linebacker to coming in such a short period of time to the start of the season at edge, and he said he was very impressed with how much Keldrick has caught on to playing that position.
Yeah.
After the move from linebacker to edge.
Yeah. And I really like that we got him with his hand in the dirt because he didn't look comfortable at that Jack's position.
Yeah.
He looks way better at that DN spot. And it's really because he was playing Jack all spring.
Yeah.
And then they slide him down to defensive end, and he's immediately getting starting reps. And if he hadn't got hurt, I fully believe he would have started Saturday.
Right.
I think they were letting him come back from that injury and allowing him to get reps later in the game. And he did a great job doing his job. And I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it again. He does not need to be this elite pass rusher this year.
He does not.
Because his ability in the run game to set the edge, all he's just got to set the edge. And if he sets the edge and he gets the TFL, that's cool. But if he sets the edge and Eugene Asante or Austin Keys or Larry Nixon comes in and they get the stop, he still did his job just as well as if he would have gotten the tackle.
Right.
And I feel like that is our strongest spot along the D-line because Elijah McAllister didn't look that impressive Saturday. He got pushed out of the play a couple times, which is unfortunate because he's 270 pounds.
Right.
He's the biggest edge I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And he just got pushed out the play a couple times. He overran the quarterback a couple times. And he's got to get that figured out. But Steven Sings, he looked decent.
He did.
Not insanely high expectations for him. I just expect him to be able to come in, spell McLeod, spell McAllister, and on third down, when we need to get to the quarterback, you can put McLeod and him on the field at the same time.
I agree.
So it's just that spot I'm unsure about at Jack. Outside of McLeod, I'm unsure about that spot. The interior, I'm still unsure about. I really like Justin Rogers. I like Marcus Harris. But behind them, Lawrence Johnson didn't necessarily impress me. Jason Jones, he looked decent, but he didn't necessarily impress me. So that's the spot I'm unsure about. But we got 2 at strong side end that I'm completely confident in. And a third that I'm starting to be more confident in is Zacchaeus Walker, who played really well Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some dogs, and I didn't see lack of effort from any of them.
No, there was no effort issues in my opinion on defense. Period.
Even when they would totally miss assignments, totally get pushed out of the plays, they were still running down, trying to get in on the tackle.
For sure.
You know, and that's an effort thing. You can't teach effort.
That was the thing against Arkansas last year. We got completely ran over, and it was a lot of effort issues.
Yes.
And when you culminate that with missed assignments, you get 300 yards rushing or whatever it was put on your
Right. Yeah.
But if you have effort, you can make up for that, and sure, maybe they get 15, 20 yards. You run down the play, you play the next play, You do your assignment that time. And there's going to be a lot of that this year. It's not going to be some smothering, I believe it was 2016 and 17 defense where some teams, they just can't get nothing going in the running game.
Right.
We're going to get gashed sometimes. We're going to get mossed outside. We're going to get diced up sometimes. But you know what we're going to do? We got Jalen Simpson at safety, ball hawk.
Yeah.
We got DJ James, who's a clamp up corner. We got Nehemiah Pritchett, who, we're relatively confident in. We're going to be an opportunistic defense, a sack-happy defense, a blitz-happy defense. We're going to get a lot of havoc plays. That is the name of the game for Ron Roberts. We may get gashed sometimes. We may be the 10th ranked defense in the SEC, but we're going to be top 5 in turnovers. We might be top 5 in sacks. And it's going to be a situation where sometimes, it's a big game and, it's just a shootout. And Jalen Simpson just completely just comes down hard on a slant, houses it, momentum completely shifted. Because we don't have the talent right now to be some smothering elite defense. But what we can be is opportunistic.
And the one thing that 100% every player can control is their effort.
Yes, that is something that nobody can control but you.
Yes.
Coaches can't instill it in you. It's
you
all
just
about
gotta want
you
to play.
Yeah.
And from what we're seeing from this team right now, they want to play.
Yep.
Period. End of discussion. They want to play.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love every bit of it. You can't coach. You can't want it for them. They have to want to themselves.
Yep.
And from last year, as soon as that team got punched in the mouth, for the most part, it looked like they were like, screw it, I'm done.
Especially when we got to that Arkansas game, and that's when you knew you had to do it then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the wheels were going to fall off completely.
And you might lose more.
Yeah. You had to reinstill hope in that team, and that hope showed when we were down over 20 against Mississippi State. We fought all the way back. We lost the game, but you could see it. That effort has definitely carried over. You didn't see a single loaf, at least in my opinion, Saturday. From what I saw, I could have missed something, but I watched it live at the game, and then I rewatched it. Oh, yeah, the secondary. My bad. Kayan Lee was spotty. He looked okay.
Yeah, but
gave up a couple
looked
catches.
Like a freshman.
He definitely looked like a freshman, for sure. And a guy that impressed me, it was late in the game when he got in, so he couldn't really do a whole lot. But Sylvester Smith looked pretty good,
Yeah.
They had him playing safety. They didn't have him playing nickel from what I could see. Austin Osbury busted a coverage from what I could see. I believe it was Champ Anthony out there that I saw, and he's like the skinniest man on the team, but he looked pretty good. Overall, I mean, the secondary is something that I'm not necessarily concerned with when we get Pritchett back. I feel like we're strong at corner and nickel.
Yeah.
At safety, if Simpson goes down, there's going to be a lot of issues because then you have to push up either one of the young kids or Griffin Speaks or Donovan Kaufman into that spot. And that's, that could not be good because Simpson, he is the key back there. He is the quarterback of the defense from what I could see.
Yeah.
And from what I saw, he was directing traffic out there. And
did a very good job.
He's a kid that I definitely think could be an NFL safety. I don't know about how high he could get drafted or whatever. But he's a sure tackler, and he seems to not make too many mistakes.
He's got decent hands.
Yeah, and that move, I just don't feel like he had the change of direction ability to play corner. He just didn't have that instinct either to play corner. He should have been moved to safety earlier.
He definitely plays safety better.
Yeah.
But, I normally pick, one player on defense from the line, one player on defense from linebackers in the secondary. And I don't think I've shied away from letting anybody know Smoke Monday was my guy.
For sure.
Smoke Monday was my guy. He had that dog. He was going to come up and light you up. whether he got the targeting call or not, it didn't matter. He was lighting somebody up.
And he was a vocal, emotional leader.
He was. And I'm kind of torn right now between Keontae Scott and Donovan Kaufman. I don't know which one's gonna be my dude.
I think I gotta go Kaufman between those two, because man, that 5 looks really good on him. It looks way better than that 1. And the tattoos, man.
Yeah, but that zero just looks good on Keontae.
I think Sub-Zero would be a badass nickname for him.
Yeah.
But man, I just feel like Kaufman's he's just so physical.
I think Justin's gonna be my dude on the line. I really
For sure.
like him.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't picked one yet at linebacker, but Asante's working real hard trying to get there.
Oh yeah, Sante's for sure my guy.
Yeah.
It's between on the D line though for me, Keldrick and Justin.
Yeah, Keldrick's gonna be there longer, but Justin just ever since he's been there, he's been that steady force.
Yeah. And he's going to make a lot of plays this year that fans will not even notice, because I haven't heard a single person mention him blowing that guy up, getting Elijah that sack. And that was, the second it happened, we both looked at each other like, oh shit. Because he came screaming through there, all 347 pounds.
Yeah, he's a dog, man. I really like him. I think he's going to be the guy on the line.
Yeah.
Even if I have to pick another dude next year, I just really, like I said, that effort. You're getting that effort every time.
Yeah. And I feel like him and Jason and Marcus and even Lawrence Johnson on that interior, if they can figure it out, that can be very formidable.
Yeah.
And then, behind them we got an Iche Sledge and, Deron Reed that'll take over next year.
Right.
Even though I think
dude's going to be a dog, too.
Yeah, Deron Reed, he got all the measurables, too. The D-line, I see the potential. And I see the ability. But it just doesn't look like it's going to come together yet.
Right. And then these things take time. I mean, you got to give them time. And it's only going to come together through them suffering together, working together, leaning on each other, playing that next play for your brother on the team.
Yeah.
Doing your job so he can do his job, so the next one can do their job, and so on and so forth. You gotta play every play like it's the last play.
Yeah, you got to do your job.
100%. Got to give it.
And if you screw up, still go 100%.
Yeah.
Because you can end up making a play.
That's right. Great coach once said, if you're gonna mess up all the way.
Mess up 110%, because I can deal with that. What I cannot deal with
It's no effort.
Yeah, is you getting out there, realizing you screwed up, throwing your hands up and quitting on the play. You can't do that.
No.
So, I mean, it's just once we get everything figured out, Coach Freeze said on defense we lined up wrong 15 times.
Yeah.
That against Bama, you're getting torched.
Yeah.
That against Georgia, you're getting torched.
Yeah, that's 15 big plays.
That against Ole Miss, they're going to hit that hole and they're going to tear you up for 400 yards rushing.
Right. But on to the offense.
I liked what I saw from Peyton.
I did
A lot
too.
of guys did not like what they saw from Peyton, but what I saw from Peyton was, for the most part, steady quarterback play. The offense never really looked stagnant. It never looked like guys, outside of a couple plays, didn't know what they were doing. And it was a bland, simple offense. We didn't show too much. It was a shit ton of counter. It was a ton of inside zone. And it was a ton of basic routes.
The main thing I saw from Peyton Thorne was good play, bad play. It didn't matter. The demeanor was the same.
Yep.
And if your leader on the offense, if they are calm, cool, and collected, the other 10 will fall in line.
Yep. People say that players, what's the word I'm looking for? Players take on the attitude of their leaders,
Mm-hmm.
and they 100% do.
Right.
If your quarterback, if you look back at him and he looks rattled, you're going to get rattled. Because if he doesn't know what he's doing, you can't know what you're doing.
That's right. And leaders lead from the front. And that was another big thing I was looking at from Peyton Thorne. He led from the front.
Yep.
You know, he didn't, you know, stand back. He wasn't shying away from any hits. When he had to pull the ball down and run, he was pulling the ball down and running. People will follow that. Players will follow that.
And even when he got out of the pocket, he looked comfortable. He saw Shane Hooks crossing. Shane Hooks put his hand up. He put the ball right on him.
Yes.
And
Now, there was one, Hollywood tried to make that Hollywood highlight reel, throw one hand up and catch it. Should have threw up two hands.
he dropped another hour. It was high and outside. But, dude, you're 6'4". You got to catch that ball.
Yeah.
And he looks every bit of 6'4".
He does. And he looks like he got some wheels on him, too.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And the best throw of the day was to Javarius Johnson. And I think there was a penalty that we ended up getting the yardage anyway, but it didn't count towards his yardage or something like that. But Peyton dropped it in a bucket to him on the sideline.
Yeah.
There was another great throw. He put it right on Shane Hooks on the back shoulder. Beautiful catch, beautiful ball. And everything just looked smooth.
It did. It did. There was, one pass on the first drive?
It was something like that. It wasn't a lot, but they ran the zone read. Peyton got outside, got a couple, and then it was the best executed play of the day for me because it just looked so beautiful in the moment, and it looked so beautiful rewatching the game. It was, I believe it was an RPO where it was a basic read. We sent our running back in orbit motion. I think we went trips to the right, or we went two receivers to the right, and it was a really simple play. The offensive line set up for a QB draw. Cam Stutz blocked his man down towards the center, and the read was they were in man coverage, and the man covering the running back sprinted outside and took the back. So that cleared up a wide open lane in the middle. And so Peyton made the right read, ran the draw, big game. And Peyton is not a burner whatsoever.
No.
But it was executed so perfectly that it didn't matter, and it was exactly the same situation with Bo Wallace. They ran very similar plays with Bo Wallace with those swing pass RPO plays. Same plays with Chad Kelly. You don't have to have Robbie Ashford. You don't have to have Cam Newton's speed to run this offense efficiently.
You just have to be intelligent enough to take what the defense gives.
I mean, and rest in peace to Ryan Mallett, but he is the slowest quarterback I've ever seen in my life. As long as you're not Ryan Mallett slow, you can run this offense efficiently.
I liked the rotation they had with the receivers. Of course, VAR, looked like the best receiver on the team yesterday.
Him or Jay Fair.
Yeah. Which I think Jay Fair, shout out my boy Mike from the War Report. I think Jay Fair ends the season with the most yards. He's got the wiggle, he's got the speed, he's got the hands. As long as they keep lining him up in the slot.
Yeah.
Keep running him on slants, get him to the middle of the field, and let him turn up and burn.
Oh, that scissors concept. It was just a little switch release. Straight to the middle. I think they were in single high. Boom. It was just money.
Yeah.
They lined him up. Him and Rivaldo Fairweather. Scissors. Bam. Money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you saw like what I meant in the last podcast. Jay Fair had the most receptions, but he still didn't have the most yards. Malcolm Johnson ended the day with 2 catches for 59 yards. And I just think that's going to be a situation where, Shane Hooks may get 3 catches for 50 or 60 yards.
Right.
Jay Fair might get 4 or 5 catches for 50 yards. So I think Jay Fair will end the season with the most receptions, the most yards is going to be what he can do after the catch. Because we saw it. They like to get him the ball on screens. He had a screen that would have improved his numbers, but Rivaldo Fairweather ended up holding on the play. It's a little now screen to the outside. They got him going outside, and he picked up 10 to 15 yards. If that play happens multiple times and he gets stuffed multiple times, that's really going to hurt his yardage. But he's still going to get those catches. So I think he ends the season probably with, 40, 45 catches, 500 yards. Maybe even 50, 55, 60 catches, 500 yards. Maybe 600, but I don't think that'll be enough for him to be the leader on the team. But, I mean, another thing I really liked about the receivers was the rotation on the outside.
Yeah.
Although Omari Kelly and Jair Shorter ended the game without catches, we're going to get them looks. You cannot have the speed with Omari Kelly and the hands with Jair Shorter and their ability to make plays and just not throw them the football.
Right.
And Camden Brown's another one. I think he had one
He just
play.
came back from an injury, though, so we're not expecting a lot out of him right now.
Yeah. But I think as the season goes on, those guys will get more opportunities to make plays.
Yeah.
But I feel like the starting rotation is pretty well set right now, and the other guys will rotate in behind them. Shane Hooks is going to start every game. He proved his abilities Saturday. He proved his abilities to get open and be well. He worked pretty well off the scramble drill with Peyton. Rivaldo, he's going to pick it up. He's too talented not to pick it up. He's going to end the season with at least 450.
The one receiver we brought in that I don't recall seeing Saturday was Mardner.
Yeah, I think he's injured, but I don't expect him to play a big part. He's a big time deep threat, but the thing that frustrates me about him is, number one, he struggles with contested catches, and number two, he doesn't utilize his body.
That's what I was about to say. He doesn't play like a big receiver.
Yeah, he's 6'6", and he reminds me like of a slower Marquez Valdez-Scantling. But MVS does a really good job of getting defenders on his hip and making them come through his body to catch the ball.
Right.
Nick don't do that.
Right.
Nick, he's either going to burn you and get wide open, or he's just out of the play.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to come in and play like a 6'6" Seth Williams.
Yeah, but that's just not his game, and at this point in his career, I don't know if he can develop that to be his game.
Right. But that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping for, but luckily we got Shane Hooks to do that.
Yeah.
And man, his hands look just as big in person as they did on film. He is a huge human. He looked way bigger than I expected him to as far as his weight. He's about 190. He looks bigger, for sure. I don't know if it was just the pads or whatever, but he looked big.
Yeah, but one thing we got to say about the training staff on this team, they got them boys yoked up.
Oh, yeah. Jay Fair, man, he looks big. He's about 5'10". I think they listed him at 186. Ain't no way that kid is 186. Var is like 165.
Yeah.
That's not 13 pounds difference right there.
Yeah.
But Jay Fair, he reminds me a little bit of Cardarius Toney with that shiftiness, man.
Yeah.
That is an impressive kid as a either a true sophomore or a redshirt freshman or whatever he is.
Right.
He's got the ability for sure.
He does. Tight ends wasn't really utilized.
Yeah, I believe he ran the wrong route. He had a wide open touchdown if he runs the right route.
It's gonna happen with a new staff. It's gonna happen.
You gotta be on the same page on that play. I don't know if it was an option route. I don't know if Fromm just didn't understand what was happening, but that one hurt. Robbie late in the game to Caleb Burton. The first one was a bad throw. The second one, it wasn't as bad of a throw, but it still wasn't put out in front of him the way it should have been. But Caleb Burton's got to go up and make that catch.
Yeah. But you're going to deal with some of these small things early on in the season. If you're still having them late in the season, that's when you get worried.
Yeah. But another thing I wanted to hit on, Red Zone Robbie. It's a real thing.
It is.
You can buy into it now. That's 3 rushing touchdowns.
It is.
I wasn't thinking he was going to play as much. as far as when the game was still within reach of UMass. But every time we got down in the red zone, he came in the game.
Yeah, and I was hoping more they would put him out there, you know, like at the 50, at the 40.
Yeah.
You know, not the red zone, and you know the defense is keying in when Robbie comes in looking for a run.
Yeah. But
let him throw a hitch. Let him throw a slant. You know, do something to where when he comes on the field, the defense is not like 100% Robbie's going to run the ball.
Yeah, we ran a little, I believe it was a little sprint out. It was called pass. He tucked it and ran, but you only give him half the field to run on that one, half the field to read. But I feel like what Hugh Freeze was wanting to do was give Peyton those reps in that intermediate part of the field and
I agree.
Let him get that rhythm. And Robbie, I don't want him coming in, you know, we're driving down in the way that we were doing it last year where, you know, it's 2nd and 7. We pull out TJ, put in Robbie.
And then
they run a little QB rap play, get him out in space, and it gets blown up, and you insert TJ on 3rd and 11, expecting him to do something there.
Right. And he did.
He did against Penn State.
TJ would get the first down, and then he's automatically back out, and Robbie's back in.
Yeah, that was what sucked because it made TJ look bad.
Yeah.
And he was the reason, and we saw it the second he got hurt, the game got out of hand immediately. He was keeping us in that game. Great game for him with Texas State, by the way. But enough bringing up depression from last year. That was a rough one. But I hope that's not what we do with Robbie this year. I hope we have specific area, you know, 3rd and 1. You know, you bring him in, you run QB counter, maybe you run a little RPO with a slant. He can throw that ball. We know he can make that throw. Just simple things like that. Get him in the game because he's too good of a player to keep off the field.
Right, and I agree with that. But you know, like back to what you said, you know, you need to use him the right way. You don't want to use him and get thrown out of rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this coaching staff is smart enough to know when to use him. Even though, you know, sometimes Saturday I was like, you know, this makes no sense. Why are they bringing Robbie in right here? You know, why not throw the ball with Peyton? But again, you got to trust that this staff knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and I just feel like you throw him in there, and Jake Crane was talking about, you know, you line him up in the slot sometimes. You just put him out there. He might not even be doing anything, but you have to notice he's there. Right. And they have to keep their eye on him. Watch for the double pass is something that he brought up.
That's what I was about to say. You know, put him in motion. You know, a little pop pass to him out of the shotgun. Let him run out the flat. Throw a touchdown.
Yeah, and a really good play that I thought that the old staff designed last year. It was pretty much, you know, that you line him up in the slot. You have TJ lined up, Tank lined up, offset to the right. TJ hands it off to him. They just run a speed option.
Yeah.
But you can't, as a defense, let go of your receiver on the outside, so they had him release outside.
Yeah.
You have to keep your eye on that because what if Robbie, instead of pitching it, what if he just
pulls up and throws it?
And that's one of the easiest throws to make in the book, you know. So using him in ways like that can be valuable, even if he's not doing anything, even if Peyton's on the field, even if he just stands there like quarterbacks always do when the Wildcats there, they just stand there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ways to keep him involved. In some games he might play 3 snaps. Some games he might play 15. But don't just get him out there just to get him out there. Have a reason. You know what I mean? Have a reason, even if he's not really doing anything. Even if it's just keep the defense looking at him, you know?
Right.
Because he's a dynamic athlete. You can't have him off the field all game.
You know, one I don't remember seeing was I don't remember if Hank got on the field.
Nah, he ain't play.
Yeah, baby goat.
Yeah. The holding play.
Kid, Hank Brown, that kid, he looks the part of an SEC quarterback. He's tall, he looks strong.
He's a developmental guy that I think, we took a shot on him because he has the arm.
Yeah.
He's a Trent Dilfer product. So, I mean, it's... I felt pretty much like I saw what I expected to see from the game Saturday. Not much that I was like, oh, God, we're screwed. And not much like, eureka,
Yeah.
I was pleased with the running game. I would have been upset if I wasn't pleased with the running game because of the talent we have back there. But, I mean, that's pretty much all I can think of from Saturday. You want to get into Cal?
We can get into a little bit of Cal.
So, I am a little bit worried about this Cal game. And I was already worried because they were our first Power 5 matchup. But then they go on to North Texas, who was pretty decent last year. And they decide, I'm going to put up 669 yards of offense. And they decided, I'm going to throw for 312 yards. And I'm going to run for 357 yards on 56 attempts. They, in the game, totaled, let me look and do some quick math right here. They had a total of, I think that's 95 plays right there. We knew Spavital was going to be fast. I don't think we realized he was going to be this damn fast. 95 plays in this new era with the new clock rules. That is insanity. So they're going to go fast, and they still controlled the clock. They had the ball for 39 minutes.
Yeah. It's not your typical Cal team that's gonna outrun.
Gonna get out talented, out physical, out fanned in their own stadium.
They're gonna put up some points.
Yep, it's gonna be a shootout.
It is. I hope Auburn's up to the task. They're leaving Thursday, so that's good. That gives them, Thursday night, Friday night to get acclimated to the time change. That's a good thing that they're leaving, a day early than they would be leaving for a normal
but I mean,
road game.
I think we were standing, I think it was halftime, we went to get food, and I showed you that play. Jaden Ott, where he broke like 9 or 10 tackles on one play.
Yeah.
That tailback, I mean, he had 20 carries for 188 yards. I mean, it was just... And we're not North Texas, of course.
Right.
We have a couple North Texas transfers, but we're not North Texas, but still. You know what I mean? Justin Wilcox, he's known for his ability to coach defense.
Right.
I think he was offered the head coaching job at Oregon a while back. He didn't take it. Probably should have taken it. But, they have this quarterback. I'm not worried about their damn quarterback, to be honest with you. What I'm worried about is our ability to stop the run and them having a good running game and being good enough as a passer in the passing game to take advantage of us. Ben Finley is their quarterback. He had 143 passer rating in week 1. That's great. They have a receiver, Jeremiah Hunter, had 965 yards last year, had 6 catches for 64 yards Saturday. So, I mean, they have some playmakers outside to keep you honest. But I feel like they're going to come in and they're going to try and pound the rock.
Right.
And that's where I think, you have to take out Cam Riley and start Asante this week.
Yeah.
Just because he has the speed to keep up with these guys. He has the knowledge. He's played a long time now in college football. He has the experience. And he looked really good Saturday. So I feel like, you got to get him out there. You got to start him.
You got to. And the corners are not going to be able to, this week, play kind of soft.
Yeah.
Cushion on the receivers. They're going to have to get up in their face, get physical with them.
Mm-hmm. You can't allow them to run RPOs and just be able to get those slants off before our blitzes can even get to the quarterback.
Right.
Because this quarterback, he can make the reads. He can make those simple reads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we know Spavital, he has those air raid concepts where they're going to be getting the ball out quick.
And you're gonna have to play quick.
Yeah, they're gonna run. They're gonna run, and we're gonna run, and it's gonna be a high up tempo game.
Yeah, you play your best when you turn your mind off.
Yep.
And just play fast.
Yep. Play reactionary.
See it, hit it.
Yep. And we're gonna have to do a good job up front. I'm pretty confident that we will be able to. I think that we have a more talented defensive line than they have as an offensive line. But we can't be lining up in the wrong spots. The corners are going to have to play better. I mean, they played well against UMass, but it's freaking UMass.
Right.
You know what I mean? They had like one receiver I was worried about. Cal's not some powerhouse football school. Occasionally they'll have a good quarterback, but other than that, they're not.
Yeah,
special.
they'll have an Aaron Rodgers, a Jared Goff.
But they have. You have to respect them. They have Power 5 wide receivers. They don't have transfers from,
Podunk.
They don't have, Power 5 transfers that just couldn't play elsewhere. That had to go there.
Right.
They have legit Power 5 kids. They brought in a lot of transfers in other spots. I didn't look at the transfer class, but I've heard they had a big-time transfer class. And they have a really good running back. They seem like they know what they're doing. And Spavital, he's going to get off as many plays as possible.
Right.
I don't think they'll run 95 plays, though. You know what I mean? But
if anybody was concerned or proved the experts wrong, it was, Texas State beat Baylor.
Yep.
And TCU 100% did not respect Colorado.
Oh, no, they didn't come out with any sort of energy for Colorado.
No. They thought they were going to go in there and hand Dion in Colorado
the fattest
an ass
possible.
whooping.
Yep.
And they went out there sleepwalking, whatever you want to call it, rolled their helmet out there. We went to the national championship game last year and got there. We went to the national championship game ass whooped.
Yep. And that's one of the biggest things that you can do that is so disrespectful because they didn't go to the damn national championship. The guys that went to the NFL this past draft went to the national championship. You can't just say, we did this last year, so we're just going to come in and we're just going to half-ass our way to a W over a Deion Sanders-led team that brought in 115,000 transfers.
Yeah.
So, that was, you can't go in and disrespect any sort of competition, especially Power 5 competition.
Right.
So, we should know that better than anybody because San Jose State came in last year and a damn near stunned us.
Yes.
We went in to a game against LSU last year where LSU brought in all those transfers and they were like, oh, this is Auburn. They barely beat Missouri. We went up 17-0 on them quick.
Yep.
With Brian Harsin. So we should know that if we sleepwalk into Cal with their 4 fans they have in the stands and just roll our helmet out there and say, oh, we just racked up 59 last week, it's going to be easy. What's going to happen? We're going to end up 17 down at the end of the first quarter.
Right.
Because this team has legit talent, and if we play on our P's and Q's and do our jobs and do it well and execute the way we should, there should be no problem. But that's the thing, we have to do that. That's something that we didn't do last week on defense, was execute properly.
Right.
So we have to go in there, we have to clean up some things, and if we go out there and we do our job and respect the competition, we should kick their ass, for sure. But
I ain't going to say kick their ass, but we should leave California at 2-0.
Yeah. But, kick their ass by like 17, 20. I'm not saying we're going to go and beat them 59-14, but if we do our jobs, do it well, execute the way we should, this team shouldn't have the talent to keep up with us.
Well,
but they still have Power 5 talent that should be respected.
With what I've seen, they play lightning fast, so I'm saying we should leave out of there with a 5 to 7 point win.
Oh, yeah. So you think the speed is gonna keep them?
Yeah.
That's for sure. That can keep them in the game for sure if we do not execute the proper way defensively.
Because they're not going to hold on to the ball 3-4 seconds and let you get to their quarterback.
No.
You're going to have max 2 seconds and the ball's out.
Yeah. for sure, because they don't have the offensive line to hold up.
Right.
I feel like that could happen.
Their coaching staff, especially their offensive coaching staff, has really figured out a way to maximize the talent they do have and hide the weaknesses they have.
Yeah, for sure. But we have a high-level defensive backfield, and we have a defensive coordinator who's known for wreaking havoc. So I'm feeling like he has the mind to know how to set our DBs up for success, play some bracket coverage, blitz out of that nickel spot, and be able to either bait them into turnovers or force them into situations where they have to hold on to the ball longer than they want to give guys like McLeod and Falk and Steven Sings a chance to get into the backfield, and Jason Jones, who's an underrated pass rusher, to get into the backfield. Marcus Harris, another one. We know what he can do as a pass rusher. We saw it in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
Not this past year, of course. But I feel like he has the mind to be able to go in here and shut some of that stuff down. And if we execute the way that we should and do our jobs, and if we do it properly, there's no reason we shouldn't walk out of there with a 14 to 17 point run.
And that would be great. But you be the optimist.
I'm not being optimistic. I don't think we're going to win by 14 to 17. I'm saying if we go in there and we do our jobs and execute properly, we should.
Yes. Either way it goes, I think we leave California with a win if we do what we can do. If we go in there and we think we're better than what we are, or we go in there and we're blowing assignments.
Yeah.
This is a team that can roll up 2-3 touchdowns on you in a heartbeat.
Yeah. In a hurry, and they can for sure win this game.
Yes.
This isn't UMass, who had no shot against us. This is a team that can definitely outscore you quickly. And this is a defense that is good enough to make you make mistakes. And Coach Freeze talked about it. They don't do anything flashy. It's not like UMass where they do all this crazy stuff. They're going to sit in base and they're going to make you drive the length of the field. They're not going to give up these chunk plays. So that is where the execution comes in the RPO game. The run blocking assignments. Getting on the same page as far as option routes. That's going to come in very, very, very important to this game if we are going to go in there and win, and we're going to go in there and drop 35, 40. Because we're going to have to drive the length of the field over and over and over and over and over again. Because in the RPO game, like I've said, it's taking what the defense gives you. And what they're going to give us is those slant routes. They're going to make Peyton Thorne beat them with his arm, because he has not proven he can do that at Auburn, because he hasn't been given an opportunity yet. What they do know is if Jarquez Hunter plays, he can beat you.
He's going to get the rock.
They know Damari Alston can beat you. They know Brian Battie can beat you, and Jeremiah Cobb. So what they're going to do is they're going to make it difficult for you. They're going to make you throw the ball. So, I mean, I'm feeling about 300 passing yards if we do our job.
Yes, and I agree with everything you said, and I think we can out-physical them.
For sure, yeah. Cal's not known for their physicality.
But the thing is, we got to be ready. We got to go do it. We have to be up to the task physically to just lean and pound and take that body shot and take that body shot and take that body shot. And eventually, you take enough of them body shots and the head's gonna fall.
Yep.
You know, you just got to keep giving them blows to the body, blow to the body. And I mean, what I mean by blow to the body is like what we did against you at UMass. You have to go in there and pound the rock, stick with the running game, and eventually the passes come open.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we're going to establish a running game early, but by the end of the game, it's going to even out.
Yeah.
We're going to be pretty balanced. You know, like you were saying, all those body shots, they drop their hands. then you go for the head.
Right. And that's when you knock them out.
Yep. It's going to be probably a lot of RPOs, a lot of hitches, a lot of bubbles, a lot of now screens.
Well, you said one thing Saturday at the game that you noticed that really caught you off guard was that a lot of the run game was Hugh Freeze's run game.
Yeah.
From Arkansas State, Ole Miss, Liberty, and the passing game, the passing routes,
the route tree, the concepts was
a lot of
Philip
Montgomery's.
Yeah, because it was a lot of counter, and that was something that I noticed watching Liberty that Hugh Freeze and Ken Austin used a lot at Liberty was counter.
Yeah.
Bringing a tackle and a guard, bringing a tackle and a tight end, bringing a guard and a tight end. And it was a lot of that, and I was expecting more of that Philip Montgomery, Art Briles run game.
Right.
And that was very surprising because I felt like coming into this, it was going to be more of the Hugh Freeze passing game, more of the Philip Montgomery run game. It wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
And the reason I thought that was because Hugh Freeze is known for his passing game. But, thinking about it, Art Briles was really known a lot, especially, early in his career for his passing game.
Yeah.
So, it was interesting to see. I wonder how much of that is going to continue as we go on, if they're going to get more elaborate with their run game. They're going to get more elaborate with their passing game, and that could be when Hugh Freeze's passing concepts come into play more.
Right.
But that was really interesting to see because that wasn't what I was expecting at all.
One thing that concerned me when we hired Monty and Coach Freeze said, I'm going to let him call the plays. That's what I hired him to do. I was kind of concerned about, Art Briles and Monty at Baylor used those wide splits.
Yep.
On their offensive line, and I was kind of concerned. I was like, well, if we use wide splits in the SEC, there's going to be a linebacker fill that wide split and come like a raging madman through that split and just annihilate your quarterback.
Yeah.
But, normal splits on Saturday.
Yep.
There wasn't, a yard and a half in between the tackle and the guard and the center,
Yeah. They weren't coming out in monster with this big of a damn gap between the offensive linemen.
So that was a little bit of a concern, but it wasn't. It was normal splits. It was, make the defensive lineman work to get through the gap.
Yeah. And I feel like Saturday the offense is definitely going to open up more, but we're not going to see the entire offense till week 4.
I think if they get down,
they're going to open it up then. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's blow for blow, and they're not down, run down, score a touchdown, they run down, kick a field goal, you go down, score a field goal, as long as the game is within reach and they're not digging deep into the playbook, I could see that. Then again, I could see it, we're going to have a coming out party and let everybody know we're here to play.
Yeah. I could see Coach Freeze and Coach Monty trying to make a statement early. I could see them trying to do that for sure because, recruits are going to be watching.
Right.
Especially Cam Coleman, not Coleman. They're going to be watching, see what that passing game looks like. But I'm really excited for this Saturday, and this is a game I'm going to really be excited to watch because it's going to be a true test. UMass wasn't first.
It's the first test.
Yeah. And it's going to be a situation where we get a feel for the season. If we go out there and it's a really, really difficult game and they're just gashing us over and over and over again, prepare yourself for 7-5, 6-6. But if it's a situation where, the game might be close, but you can tell we're in control, then you can start saying, I could see an impressive 7-5 or an 8-4.
Yeah.
By an impressive 7-5, I mean like Georgia, it's a 10-point loss, 14-point loss. Bama, it's a competitive game. Maybe we win that one. and drop the one to LSU, you know, and that's going to be really important for recruiting as well.
Right. You know, a lot of these recruits, you know, they pay attention. They really, they dissect the games a lot more than people think they do.
For sure. They're not dumb.
Yeah, they want to, they don't just, you know, a lot of them say, you know, I wanted to play in the SEC, but you could go to Vanderbilt and play in the SEC. You can go to South Carolina and play in the SEC.
Yep.
You know, kids come to Auburn because we do have a rich tradition.
We do.
Auburn.
We have a history of very,
Winning.
very competitive and winning culture and championships.
Yeah. You know, and they know what it's all about. They know what's up. They want to see how their position's utilized and can they maximize their talents at that position, at that school, to get to the next level. Even with NIL, you know, these kids are making a good bit of money.
Yep.
But it's the goal is still the same, and it's always been the same. Get to the NFL.
Yeah. And when it comes to NIL, it's not, there are certain kids where it's all NIL money.
Right.
But, you know, it's like, if the money's close, let's say West Virginia offers a kid $3,000 more than Bama, they're going to Bama.
Right.
If, you know, it's a situation where, you know, it's Florida State and Georgia, and the money's the same, they're going to go to wherever they feel like home is. Wherever what they value more than just money is, whether it be playing time, whether it be championships, development. They're not just going to pick a school like, oh, you know, Auburn offered me, you know, I don't know, the NIL dollars, $700,000. That could be too much, too little, whatever. And Georgia offered me $650,000, so I'm going to Auburn. That's not what it is. For the vast majority of these kids, they're going to pick the school where they feel like they can be developed, whether they can play, whether they can win championships, whatever it is that they value. That's what they're picking schools based on. How the offense looks. You got a pro style quarterback. He's not going to Army.
Right.
He's not going to go somewhere where the offense don't fit.
Right.
He's going to go somewhere like Georgia, who runs a pro style offense that's efficient.
Right.
If you have a quarterback that's like Walker White, he's not going to go to Georgia.
He's not going to go to a school where he's lining up in the power eye.
Yeah, he's not going to go somewhere. He's not going to go to damn Iowa.
Yeah.
Walker White wants to go somewhere that values his abilities, you know, like Auburn.
Right.
There's other schools like Florida State where he fits. That's the style of offense that he can run.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And, you know, about the NIL dollars and everything, Kamarion Franklin, it's a perfect example. I think the kid got a big NIL offer from Ole Miss, and there was a lot of pressure around to stay in state.
Yep, he wanted to stay around his family.
But I firmly believe Ole Miss is going to have a defense that Ole Miss has always had.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he's going to see that Auburn has a better defense. They're developing players better. And if you want to get drafted high, you need to be somewhere with a defensive game plan and a defensive scheme and likewise talent to where the head coach is not paying 100% attention to the offense, no attention to the defense, and get drafted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Cam Franklin, I think a lot of it was not even just pressure. I think he wants to be around his siblings. He's got a lot of siblings, young siblings. And I think the money was comparable. And do I think Ole Miss offered more? Probably. Yeah. They probably offered more money.
Yeah.
And it's a long way to signing day. Right now, I think he's firm in his commitment. That could definitely change in an instant.
Right. Which Cam Coleman was firm in his commitment right after he did it at Texas A&M. Everything I'm hearing, not so firm right now.
Yep. And with Cam Coleman, that's another kid that I think that Auburn has a really good shot with. I think they definitely have a better shot with him than Cam or KJ Bolden, because I think KJ Bolden's rock solid in his commitment right now.
I think he is right now.
And I
think Zaquan Patterson is right now too. Will he be in a month? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think he will.
I was more confident when Cam Coleman committed. I was like, we still got a great shot, because I think it was a spontaneous commitment. And I don't think that it was a situation where Auburn got beat head to head. I think it was a situation where Texas A&M came in and swooped in,
threw a hell of a lot of money at him.
Yeah. And that's not to say that Auburn wasn't also offering a shit ton. I think that relationship with Damian Craig was really strong.
Right.
And I think they got him on campus and they got him to commit. I think Auburn has a great shot, and if I had to pick right now, I'd say he's going to end up in Auburn's class. But still, Texas A&M, they have a really good track record with receivers too.
Mike Evans
for sure. They got a really good track record with receivers. Jimbo's got a good track record.
Kirk went there too, didn't he?
Yep. And Jimbo, he also has a really, really good track record with wide receivers, and I think they pitched him on that. I don't think it was just money. But I think that Auburn could definitely swoop in if this passing game is strong. They'll get him on campus maybe 3-4 times this year, and
finish the deal.
Nykar's another one. I think that one, it could be difficult to pull.
But I think it goes all the way down to the early signing period.
I think Auburn definitely has a really good shot there. When
Walker
it goes
White hadn't lit up on Nykar.
No, not at all. And I like this receiver class. I just think that would, that would solidify it. And, you get one of those guys in the boat, boom, you're done with receivers, and you move on.
Right.
Let's talk about DeAndre Carter.
Oh, the big man.
Oh, man.
I thought he was going to throw his elbow out. He reached for that Auburn hat so fast.
Yeah, that was funny. He's a really, really cool kid.
He's real.
But he's got all the ability. I think he's a kid that can start day one.
I know it's hard to say something like that about a young man that big, but I think he's still got a lot of baby fat on him.
Oh, for sure.
When he gets in that training program at Auburn, you're going to see that belly slim down, and you're going to see them arms blow up.
I think day one, we're going to be losing Cam Stutz. He could start there. If we're going to be losing Britton if he takes that guard spot from Jeremiah Wright, I think he could start there. And I think he's a guy that, a couple of years in, he could swing out the tackle. He's about 6'3", I think. But in this offense, you ain't got to be 6'5", 6'6" to start a tackle. We see that with Dylan Wade right now.
Yeah.
Gunnar Britton's not that tall from what I've seen. And he's a kid that I could see starting day one as a guard. Cole Pinkston talked about how good his feet are. He's really fast. He's really athletic. I was getting worried with how late this thing was getting pushed back.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we got him in the boat. He seems solid in his commitment. He's a quiet kid, so I don't think he's going to flip.
I don't either. But he was the first offensive lineman in this class.
And isn't he a hell of a first one to get?
And I do not think he's the last.
Nope. Favor Edwin, he's a guy that's gotten picked up a lot of steam lately. Reese Baker's a guy we've been on for a while. Nobody knows what's going on there. We got guys like Preston Tamu who we're not going to let up on. I think we definitely got a better shot with them than we got with, a guy like Daniel Calhoun.
I still think we're going after Khalil House.
Oh, yeah. I view him as in the class if we push for it. With everything that's going on with Stanford. Not to say that, he doesn't want to go to Stanford, but I feel like if we come in and we swoop in and, we get on him hard, and he's a kid I really like, I think we could get him into class.
Yeah, he's a kid. He's a kid that's gonna be a Power 5 kid, period. End of discussion.
Yeah.
It's insane strength, great talent. I think he's, as a 3-star, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah. He's not a kid I view as a 3-star.
I view him a lot like I viewed Connor Lew last year.
Yeah, he didn't get that 4-star till into the recruiting cycle. I was like, what are these people thinking?
Yeah.
Because if we didn't get Avery Jones, he's the starting center.
Yeah.
Right now.
And he got in. And he played well.
Yeah,
he got in.
He could have started right now if we didn't get Avery Jones.
Right.
He's got the talent. There's a couple guys we're going after, but it's so early that There's no way to tell who else we're going to add.
No. And a lot of people are going to look up Reese Baker and they're going to be like, oh, he's not even got a star by it. It doesn't matter.
It does not.
It does not matter. Some of these kids, you get a lot of star power by going to camps.
Yep.
You know, some of these kids can't go to camps. Some of them, they don't have the money to go. Their parents don't make the money to send them to all these camps.
Reese Baker, he's not the type of dude to go to camps. You know, it's Auburn and Troy that he's deciding between right now.
Yeah.
And it's because of the academics. He's a kid that wants to go to a good academic school.
You know, I don't get caught up on a lot of the star stuff, especially with the offense and the center position, especially. It is so hard for a center to be a 5-star. Kid out of Oxford a few years back,
Clay Webb,
was a 5-star center, high 4-star, 5-star center, number 1 center in the class. Couldn't get on the field at Georgia. He's at Jacksonville State now.
And he's a good player.
He is.
But he was Alabama Mr. Football, right?
Yeah.
And it was a situation where, you know, I don't know how to put it, but like, I think he was just somewhat of an arrogant kid at the time.
Yeah.
And it took him a while to figure it out. And I think, you know, he could end up becoming a pro kid, whether it be NFL or whatever. He's a talented kid, but, you know, he's
a great offensive lineman.
It's so hard to evaluate offensive linemen coming out of high school because it's a position where you come in relatively raw regardless.
Yeah. No high school kid is blocking against Power 5 talent every game.
Yeah.
You know, it's hit or miss, you know. And it's not like the old days where you hear these stories about these college coaches that never recruited offensive linemen. You know, they recruited a shit ton of defensive linemen because if an offensive lineman, you grade him out and he don't pan out, he can't play nowhere else. But if a defensive lineman with defensive lineman athleticism don't pan out to be on your defensive line, with that athleticism, you can swap him to offensive line.
Yeah, that's not the way football works no more.
No, it's not.
You know, these kids, they got to start developing early. Another kid we picked up was Spencer Dowling.
Class 25.
Strength out of this world.
Yes.
6'6", 290 out of Athens, Alabama.
We were actually leaving the game when
he committed.
That commitment, you know, broke.
It was between Auburn, Arkansas, Florida State, and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Pretty strong offer list. This early, you know, usually commitments don't matter much, but it's good to at least get this offensive lineman to commit.
Right.
You know, he was a kid that everybody was saying he probably wasn't going to lead the state. Auburn put the pressure on him hard, recruited him hard, and Jake Thornton really likes him. Jake Thornton likes him. He's the offensive line coach. I like him. He's young, and there's no telling. At that age, you know, it's not like Jacaleb Falk, where he's just so athletic you can't see him not panning out.
Right. J.J. Falk is a beast, and I'm glad we locked him up. I really like the way he put the Alabama hat on, and then, you know,
he did the no.
Yeah. No. I like that. Kind of made me sweat for a second.
Oh, I was freaking out. You know, he's an inside linebacker that I really like.
And I like the fact that he's at least gonna get, you know, at least 1 year playing on the field with his brother at Auburn.
Yeah, and
because I do not think Caleb makes it past his junior year at Auburn.
Keldrick, yeah, I can't.
Keldrick, I'm sorry.
Jacaleb Keldrick. He is also a very, very raw kid, like his brother was. But we saw how quickly Keldrick developed, and now he's on the field, and he's potentially going to start by the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, I really like Josh Aldridge a lot. He's a coach that I'm very confident in. He's a very smart guy, and he's recruiting his tail off right now.
He is.
DeMarcus Riddick, D'Angelo Barber, JoJo Phillips. You know, JoJo Phillips is a kid that I could see he's a guy that I could see ending up being a day one edge talent. He's going to play that jack spot, and he is insanely athletic.
Yeah.
He's got all the tools. He's a kid that just started playing football, I believe, last year. And, you know, we stole him right from the jaws of Georgia.
Yes, and if there was one that I'm worried about flipping, it's him.
Yeah, but there's no rumors about him flipping right now. So, you know what I mean? I feel good about that one. Don't make me start sweating. DeMarcus Riddick.
He's locked in.
Yeah, he said he's glad he didn't go to Bama. I was like, yeah, I am too. I was worried about that for sure.
Yeah.
But Perry was on the planes too. Alvin Henderson was on the planes.
He commits on his birthday.
That's not confirmed. He just might.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just might. He said he was thinking about committing around that time. If he pops, it's probably going to be Auburn. I think it's Auburn and Oregon, I think is who's battling it out right now. You get him, you could potentially end up with Deuce Knight too.
Yeah, well, you can't count Tennessee out because Tennessee is high on Deuces.
Joe Milton looked pretty good Saturday. That dude got a cannon, man. If Josh Heupel can make it work with that kid, quarterback's going to start flocking to that spot because Joe Milton did not look good at Michigan. That would be an insane amount of development to develop him into that quarterback that he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Josh Heupel's gonna be hard, a holy terror for a lot of teams.
He's going to have an electric offense every single year there. Man. The SEC is loaded.
It is, and we're hoping we go into SEC play undefeated.
Mm-hmm. I really, really hope so, because we could lose 3 straight to start SEC play if we don't get it figured out. And if we drop Cal and we lose all 3 of those, a lot of fans are not going to be happy. A lot of fans are not going to be happy.
No.
But the crazy thing about it is I could see us starting 3-0, dropping 3, and finishing with 8 wins still because of how the schedule sets up.
It could happen. It really could. I'm hoping we hit that 4-game SEC stretch and at least go 50-50.
If it's possible. Who do we have as that 4th SEC game again?
It's A&M,
Georgia, LSU,
Ole Miss.
Yeah, we can go 50-50 there. We can. I don't know if we will. But I feel like we can beat A&M and we can beat Ole Miss.
Yeah.
As bad as LSU looked, I'm still sticking with the thing of, we are not Florida State.
No.
We don't have that defensive front.
And we don't have a Michigan State transferred dominant receiver.
And I love Shane Hooks, but Keon Coleman could be a first-round pick, man. Oh, God, if we could have nabbed him. Oh, damn it. That was a rough time when we missed on him. We missed on Ra Thomas.
Yeah, but did he even play for Georgia Saturday? Was he on the field?
I'm sure he played. I didn't watch Georgia, though.
I didn't either.
Carson Beck looks like a douchebag. If we can go through that 4-game stretch, even if we go 1-3 and that one being Ole Miss, because if we lose that game, I'm not going to be happy. Because their fans talk like they've won 7 national championships.
Easy now. Remember, we got one of our most loyal is Ole Miss fan.
Ty Scott is not like every other Ole Miss fan. Ty Scott different. Man, I love my boy Ty. I haven't seen him in a minute in the comments. I hope he still listens. He's a really cool guy. But
he's a Bama hater too.
That is what we love about him. But outside of Ty Scott, Ole Miss fans talk like they've won 7 national championships, and if we lose to them, it's going to be hell.
It's not going to be the end of the world, though.
I feel like if we go 1-3 in that stretch and we're competitive in every game, that'll be. And I'm not big on moral victories. I'm not a moral victory fan, but
I'm not a moral victory guy at all.
yeah,
You're playing big time college football for a reason.
Yep.
That's to win.
Mm-hmm. But if we got to understand where we're at this year, we're thin, and we got a lot of kids that we brought from G5 programs. So, you know, if we go 1-3 in that stretch, so be it. I still feel like we can win 8. I feel like we can start, 4-3, finish 8-4. We can. If we start 4-3, I'd probably go, we'll finish 7-5.
Be great to go 5-2. It'd be amazing to go 7-0.
Yeah. If we beat Georgia, nobody will be able to tell me anything.
No. Uncle Luke can take his as a meaningless regular season game and stuff.
Yep. Well, their offense coordinator is Mike Bobo. And if Carson Beck is the next Hudson Mason, who knows? But
who knows?
They could put their defense on both offense and defense and still probably win 6 games.
Very
somehow.
well could. And as long as just give the ball to Brock Bauer every game, every snap. I mean, he run. I think I saw in the highlights he run a
tight end sweep
for a touchdown. The kid is just unreal, man.
Cali kid.
I don't care if the kid's from Mars. He's just unreal.
I think he is from Mars. That boy's from Krypton. That's Superman right there.
So talented.
Man, this is why we love SEC football. We have legitimate aliens.
Yeah.
And Justin Rogers is one of them. No man at 347 pounds should be able to move like that.
No, it is ungodly.
All right. Well, we love you guys. This is a long podcast. I think we hit everything we were supposed to, but probably not.
But we will be back. And if you did not know, now you know. War Damn Eagle.
We're down.